Welcome to the Unraveling Scriptures channel. Surely you have pondered the origin of all the languages present in the world today. As we observe the globe, we are faced with a myriad of distinct languages, each with its own peculiarity, spread across all continents and countries. Ancient traditions, such as sacred scriptures and Judaic and Semitic narratives, address linguistic origins in an intriguing manner. According to accounts in the book of Genesis, there is a fascinating story that deals with human rebellion before God. In this context, God, in response, scattered languages among peoples, removing the primordial language so that it would no longer be spoken. With that said, I invite you to enjoy another video on our channel, and don't forget to leave your likes and comments. Babel languages and peoples, the roots of all languages and all peoples. About 2 centuries after the flood, the descendants of Noah and his wife begin to spread throughout the earth. Gradually, they converge to a single region known as the land of Shinar, located where modern-day Iraq and Syria are, ancient Mesopotamia. In this land, the descendants of Japheth begin to settle, particularly the descendants of Madai, ancestor of the Medes and Persians, along with other descendants of Japheth. Among them, there were leaders who exercised authority over their respective lineages. During this period, Japheth was still alive, maintaining some dominion over his descendants. The descendants of Ham also settled in the region, including the sons of Cush, who gave rise to various peoples, such as the ancient Ethiopians and Nubians, among others. Among the descendants of Ham, a man named Nimrod stood out, who emerged as a powerful figure in the land. Nimrod, the 6th son of Cush, whose mother is not specified in the biblical text, demonstrated significant influence over the inhabitants of the land. He persuaded both the descendants of Japheth and those of Shem to unite in the land of Shinar and to jointly build an imposing tower that would reach the heavens. The biblical account mentions that after Cush had 5 sons, he had one more, whom he named Nimrod. He proved to be a rebellious and wicked figure in the eyes of God. Along with the other leaders of Noah's lineages, including the leader of Japheth's descendants and the leader of Shem's descendants, he defied the divine will. By refusing to scatter throughout the earth as commanded by God and choosing to remain in that region to build the tower, they provoked divine wrath. God, upon witnessing such disobedience, descended to earth and imposed new languages on the different descendant lineages of Noah. Each ethnic group, representing the 3 distinct lineages, received its own language. Although some scholars may disregard the biblical account, theologians, linguists, and antiquity experts acknowledge the historical potential of the text. The languages were named in reference to the ancestors of the peoples, such as the Hamito-Semitic language family, encompassing many languages of Ham and Shem's descent, and the languages of the Japhetic family, currently known as Indo-European languages. The Bible attributes the origin of all languages to the Tower of Babel, where God is said to have distributed each of them to different ethnic groups present. The biblical account states that everyone was there on that day. Many scholars have investigated the history of the tower erected in the region of Babel, in the land of Shinar, and concluded that it was a type of ancient ziggurat. This consensus is reached by some scholars, especially because smaller replicas of ziggurats have already been discovered. It is believed that Nimrod, although not the sole responsible for the construction, stood out as a central figure, according to ancient traditions. The tower, considered an ancient ziggurat, is associated with the figure of Nimrod, who, according to some interpretations, could be an ancestor of the Sumerians. The biblical text identifies the Sumerians as belonging to the Hamitic people, descendants of Ham, son of Cush. Among the lineages of Cush are the Ethiopians and the current Sudanese, who were formerly known as Nubia or simply Cush. The kingdom of Cush, among other ancient civilizations, is mentioned in history. The kingdom of Cush was an ancient African kingdom that flourished in the region that is now Sudan, in northeastern Africa, along the Nile River, between approximately 1000 BCE and 350 CE. This kingdom is historically significant for its political, cultural, and economic importance in the region. Kushite culture was influenced both by Egypt and by other African cultures. Religion played a significant role in everyday life, with the Kushites worshipping a variety of gods and goddesses, many of whom shared similarities with Egyptian deities. The Kushite writing, called Meroitic, was distinct from Egyptian hieroglyphic writing and has not yet been completely deciphered. Now concerning the story of the Tower of Babel, it has been interpreted in various ways. Theologically, it is seen as a demonstration of God's power over humanity and an example of divine punishment for arrogance and disobedience. Morally, it has been used to teach lessons about humility, the importance of cooperation, and the need to respect the limits imposed by God. Although the term Tower of Babel is widely known and used, it is not explicitly mentioned in the biblical text. Its popularity stems from the fact that many people discuss the Tower of Babel, as it is said to have been built in the city of Babel. The term Babel has its etymological roots in ancient Akkadian, a Semitic language believed to have been one of the languages present in Babel. Semitic languages, such as Aramaic and Arabic, descend from Proto-Semitic, of which Akkadian is a variant. In Akkadian, Babel would mean gate of God, Babilam or Bablum. There are various traditions about Nimrod, who is often considered the primary builder of the Tower of Babel. Some of these traditions suggest that Nimrod was a giant or an ancient Nephilim, but many disagree with this, as the biblical text describes him as the sixth son of Cush, a common human descendant of Ham. Some people contest this argument, suggesting that Nimrod was the son of a fallen angel who took on a female form. In Mesopotamia, as well as throughout the Middle East and Africa, there are female deities, and biblically we know that all pagan gods are considered fallen angels or disguised demons. This is a biblical fact corroborated in both the Old and New Testaments. These gods receive worship from many people, and in the book of Exodus, for example, when Moses, through the power of God, turns his staff into a serpent, Pharaoh's magicians, followers of Egyptian deities, call upon the Egyptian gods to perform the same miracle. They manage to turn a wooden staff into a serpent, demonstrating that the power of witchcraft is granted by these ancient entities, the pagan gods, which we know to be fallen angels. According to some theories, mythologies, and traditions about Nimrod, he is depicted as a giant not because of his paternal lineage, but rather because of his mother. These narratives suggest that Nimrod's mother is absent in the biblical text, and he is placed in a distinct position among the sons of Cush. Although Nimrod is recognized as the son of Cush, his mother is considered a fallen angel disguised as a goddess, which gave rise to various traditions. According to some of these narratives, his mother is identified as Semiramis, an ancient queen of Syria, whose figure existed long before Syria as we know it. Thus, Nimrod would be considered a giant by virtue of his maternal lineage, not paternal. It is important to emphasize that these are only theories, mythologies, legends, and traditions, and are subject to various interpretations, especially regarding the biblical text. Regarding the primordial language spoken in the world by Noah and his sons, which was altered by God himself and gave rise to other languages, many scholars refer to it as Adamic language, associated with Adam, and it is also mentioned in the New Testament as the language of angels or simply language of celestial beings. In the future, I plan to create a special video addressing this language and everything we know about it. As for the languages that were distributed at Babel, according to some Semitic Jewish traditions and rabbis, it is believed that God gave 70 different languages, distributed in groups of 10 for each of the main lineages descending from Noah. Over the centuries, from the 70 original languages in Babel, various dialects and new languages emerged, resulting in hundreds of distinct languages around the world. It is believed that this process of linguistic multiplication occurred due to the diversification of dialects over time. However, there is a belief that Noah, his wife, and their 3 sons still spoke the Adamic language, as they were the originators of the post-flood world. They would have retained this original language, while their descendants began to speak different languages and could no longer communicate with their ancestors in the Adamic language. Thank you for watching the video so far. Continue on our channel watching the next video that will appear for you on the final screen. God bless, see you soon.